How Rick Ankiel lost his mind on the mound. Imagine standing on the biggest stage of your life, millions watching, your dream finally becoming reality, and suddenly, your mind completely betrays you. Not because you forgot how to play baseball, but because pressure became stronger than confidence. This is the heartbreaking true story of Rick Ankiel, the baseball phenom who mentally collapsed in front of the entire world, and how he somehow rebuilt himself after losing everything. Before we begin with this awesome video, please don't forget to hit the like bell, subscribe, and leave a comment on what you would like to see next week. If you want to separate yourself from average players, you need a different mindset. Subscribe for daily sports psychology breakdowns. And if you're serious about your growth, check out my basketball motivation journal in the description. Start building your edge today.
If you're locked in on improving your mental game, this journal is for you. Basketball Motivation Journal. Hooper's Inspiration Notebook helps you stay disciplined, focused, and motivated. Available now on Amazon. Link is in the description or just comment. Send me the link and I'll get it to you.
The rise of Rick Ankiel. Rick Ankiel was baseball's next superstar. By age 20, he threw over 95 miles per hour with devastating pitches that left hitters frozen. Fans believed he would become one of the greatest pitchers in Major League Baseball. He had confidence, talent, power. But pressure changes everything, especially when fear enters the mind. The night everything changed. In the 2000 MLB playoffs, Rick Ankiel stepped onto the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. This was his moment. But suddenly something terrifying happened. He threw a wild pitch. Then another. Then another. The more he tried to regain control, the worse it became. Millions watched as one of baseball's brightest young stars completely lost the ability to throw strikes. Not physically, mentally. It looked unbelievable. A pitcher who once dominated baseball suddenly couldn't control the ball anymore. The mental collapse. Sports psychologists often describe moments like this as performance paralysis. Rick Ankiel's body knew how to pitch, but anxiety hijacked his nervous system. When fear becomes overwhelming, muscles tighten, breathing changes, focus disappears, confidence collapses. Overthinking destroys automatic performance. Athletes call it the yips. But underneath the surface, it's often fear, anxiety, trauma, and emotional overload. The harder Ankiel tried to fix himself, the worse the pressure became. Performance anxiety can destroy even elite athletes because sports rely heavily on automatic confidence. When athletes begin consciously controlling movements they once performed naturally, performance collapses. This is called explicit monitoring. The brain stops trusting instinct. Fear replaces flow. And suddenly simple actions become impossible. Public humiliation. What made Rick Ankiel's story even more painful was that it happened publicly. Fans criticized him. Analysts questioned him. The media replayed his collapse constantly. Imagine your worst mental moment becoming national television. That pressure crushed his identity. Because many athletes connect self-worth directly to performance. When performance disappears, they feel like they disappear too. The reinvention. Most people thought Rick Ankiel's career was over. But years later, something incredible happened. He reinvented himself completely. Instead of returning as a pitcher, he became an outfielder. One of the hardest transitions imaginable in professional sports. And somehow, he made it back to Major League Baseball. That comeback wasn't just physical. It was psychological survival. Key psychological lessons. 1. Pressure can break anyone. Even elite athletes can mentally collapse under overwhelming expectations. Mental struggles do not mean weakness. 2. Fear destroys automatic performance. Overthinking under pressure interrupts natural athletic flow. Confidence disappears when athletes stop trusting themselves. 3. Identity should never depend only on performance. Athletes who attach self-worth entirely to success become emotionally vulnerable during failure. 4. Public failure can become trauma. Embarrassment and humiliation can deeply affect confidence and emotional health. 5. Reinvention is possible. Rick Ankiel's story proves athletes can rebuild themselves after devastating failure. Rick Ankiel didn't just lose control of a baseball. He lost confidence, identity, security, and millions watched it happen. But his story became bigger than baseball, because even after humiliation, even after failure, even after the world counted him out, he kept going. That's real mental toughness. Not pretending fear doesn't exist, but fighting through it anyway. And maybe the strongest athletes are not the ones who never break. Maybe they're the ones who find a way to rebuild after they do.